Anchor? I don't know. Adam, I feel like it's been a while. Did I miss anything while I was gone?
It has, and I thought this first show was going to be in Spanish since you were in Spain, so Oswego Deportes update starts right now.
Vámonos.
You're watching Oswego Sports Update.
Who suffered two unfortunate losses this weekend. The first to Geneseo, a 2-3 tough loss. The second to Brockport, also a 2-3 loss. Adam, both of those games didn't obviously go in the Lakers' favor. Your thoughts on where the men's hockey team stands right now?
Well, these are two crucial losses coming in. You not thinking they're going to drop these two. Geneseo, the top in the SUNYAC right now. That would have been a big win for them going into this last week in a regular season. But that Brockport game, on your home ice, I don't know about that one. They did two goals right off the bat. They go down, and then in the Geneseo game, they let three straight. So they had 5 unanswered over the 2 days before they started scoring. 2 horrible losses on your home ice to end the year.
Adam, I'm going to agree with you on both points. I think Geneseo, you didn't need that win. They wanted that win, but that one's excusable. However, the Lakers did score first. A little bit of a disappointment there. So logically, they should come back and beat up on the Golden Eagles the next night, kind of avenge that loss the night before. They didn't do that. They lost to Brockport, a team that they beat 4-0 earlier in the season. They lost to, this isn't a good Brockport team. This is a potential non-playoff team. And now Potsdam and Plattsburgh on the horizon. I got 2 words for you, Adam Rupsick. They're and oh. Uh-oh for the Oswego State men's ice hockey team right now. They're headed north. Those games aren't even at home. Plattsburgh's one of the best teams, not only in the SUNYAC, but in the country. I'm giving them an 8 on the panic meter.
I mean, they get there. That's a little high.
No, I don't think it is.
I'm not saying
they're in danger of not even getting a home
playoff.
Yeah,
but look, they needed those wins because now look at the message they send to the rest of the league. They still have that 3rd spot in the SUNYAC, but look at the message now that Plattsburgh got that they can drop those 2 games easy at home.
I agree.
They're going to come out swinging, try to get them down early on the road. Could be ugly.
I agree, but I think if they play the way they played this weekend against Potsdam, they'll probably lose Potsdam, and they certainly have no chance against Plattsburgh unless they really kick themselves into high gear. But that's just the men's side. Let's transition over to the women's side.
All right. Well, the Oswego State women's hockey team is the opposite. They're on a tear. 6 straight wins for them. They're undefeated in the month of February, on a hot streak. They got Plattsburgh coming up. High-ranked team. What do you think?
You said it, Adam. Undefeated in the month of February. 6 wins in a row for this team. Huge tip of the cap. 2 huge wins. They had a half-game lead in the standings. That was above Utica. Now they got a 2.5 game on Utica. They've clinched the 3 seed. They can't reach the 2 seed, but they can't drop to the 4 seed. They're flying high right now. People are looking at this Plattsburgh team, who is a very good Plattsburgh team. Everybody at Oswego talks about how good the men's Plattsburgh team is. This women's Plattsburgh team, I would argue, is even better. They've allowed 12 goals all season, and only 7 of them in the SUNYAC Conference, and 3 of them were to the 2-seeded Elmira team, who's equally or almost as good as them. I think the Lakers take this game, or this set of games. They're at home, senior night. Enjoy yourselves. Play your hearts out. Maybe you get a tie. Maybe you even steal a win on your home ice. And know that you're probably going to have to play them again in the postseason.
I think this is exactly what they needed. Oswego State coming in. This program is on the turnaround. These past 4 years I've been here, 3U is on a turnaround. They're really making good strides to becoming an elite program, just as the men's team and other teams on campus. And this is just what they need, I think, going into this Plattsburgh series on their home ice. The hype's with them. They haven't lost in February. They knocked down one of those wins, maybe 2. Look out.
And let's not
we got a new team to talk.
You mentioned how far this team's come. I want to add on to that a little bit more, Adam. We're talking about a team that just last year could barely field 2 full lines.
Yep.
Barely. They would go into a game with 11 players on the ice, and now they're the 3 seed in the SUNYAC with a chance to really make some noise this weekend and in the ECAC postseason to look at another home playoff game. They just got their first home playoff game a couple years ago. This program's the program to watch right now. Keep your eye on the women's hockey team.
How about those Sellies, too?
How about those Sellies? We love the Oswego women's hockey Sellies here on Oswego Sports Update. But sliding over to the hard court, the men's basketball team had 2 heartbreaking losses at the hands of Potsdam and Plattsburgh this weekend. Both very close games. The Potsdam one on a buzzer beater. The Plattsburgh game, a loss in overtime. They really didn't show up in the overtime. Adam, you know, this Lakers team looked good, looked bad. They've been inconsistent all year. Now they're really slipping. Where do they stand right now in your latest SUNYAC Power Rankings?
Well, my latest SUNYAC Power Rankings, they're losing crucial spots they needed. We were looking after their win against Cortland last Saturday to maybe even get the 3rd seed in the SUNYAC. 4 seed still gets the home playoff game, and we love home playoff games over in Maxfield.
And now they'll be lucky to get that home playoff game.
You can't go into I don't even think they touched the ball in practice today. Coach Leone canceled basketball coaching class. It must have been serious. To Potsdam, one of the worst teams in the SUNYAC, and you beat Plattsburgh early on in the season. You can't lose those games. Dan Ross had 28 points and lost against Plattsburgh, but only just into double digits in that Potsdam loss. And where's the other players that were stepping up in place of Brian Sortino? Elijah McLaurin, Walter Sampson didn't do a lot this week.
Perfect segue into what I wanted to touch on, Adam. You know, obviously 2 tough losses you feel for this team, but they let that Potsdam team hang around, and then they laid an egg in overtime. But you're talking about Dan Ross and the scoring. You know, Dan Ross really is the scoring. He had 28 of, I think, 66 points at Potsdam. That's almost half. You know, where is the rest of the team? This scoring has been so inconsistent. Some games, Colby shows up. Some games, Powell shows up. But I think the Lakers right now are in a position where they need all 3 of those players and more to step up on a consistent basis if they want to make some noise in the SUNYAC.
And I agree, and they have shown that in a few games they needed to win throughout the season. A lot of players have stepped up, but they dropped that Potsdam loss and that Plattsburgh loss. This SUNYAC conference is extremely competitive, especially in the tournament season. And Oswego State really needs to start getting that consistency rolling because they're running out of time. A big game tomorrow against Brockport.
Playoffs aren't even a guarantee for them.
Well, the Oswego State women's basketball team going through some struggles after their 10th straight loss, 2 losses this weekend. And the Lakers have only 2 wins in conference play. What do they have to look forward to?
Well, Adam, I got to be honest with you, not a whole lot to look forward to here for the women's basketball team. I got, 2 things I worked together for you. They got to win their final home game. It's a winnable game against Brockport, lower team in the SUNYAC. They're not going to make the playoffs. There's a big gap between that 6 and that 7 seed. And you want to avenge your senior day loss. They had a tough loss to Cortland in overtime last week, about 10 days ago. So they want to avenge that. And Cortland's sitting in a position where they're kind of jostling for a playoff position. So they could go out, they could play spoiler to a, somewhat of a rival Red Dragon team. And my second thing, start looking forward to the offseason. You really got to put in work, graduating and losing a lot of players this year. Women's basketball team's in a tough spot right now.
I think this year they started out at a pretty decent point, had a great season last year, started out decent, won the Maxfield tournament at the beginning of the year, and then they just kind of stayed there. They didn't progress as a good basketball teams progress through the season, play their best basketball when it comes tournament time, when it comes to conference championship time. They kind of just stayed. And Jen Robbins, the top player on this year's squad, she'd have games where she scored 31, like this weekend, and then she can come back and score 8 the next night. But that's not totally on her. When she's scoring 8, there needs to be other players stepping up. Here and there was not a lot of it. SUNYAC conference, a good conference. Give them that. They couldn't get through that wall.
And I hate to go back to this, but they really struggled with a lack of a big player presence down low.
Yeah.
Top
2 rebounders gone.
Ever since Kayla Ryan left 2 or 3 years ago, they've really felt that down low, and it's been all guard scoring. And as you know, in basketball, you need the down low scoring sometimes. All right, well, Olivia Bowerson is in studio. She's ready to go. Interview with Dan North coming up after the break. Stay tuned, guys. You won't want to miss it. This is OSU.
Meaning.
Gabrielle Schnepp looking to play hero. There's still a chance. Back.
Everyone has friends. There's online friends, friends to go out with on a Saturday night, friends to hang out with and do nothing, friends who show up on moving day. And then there are the friends who'll be there if someone is dealing with a mental illness. Are you one of those friends?
Teaching a kid football is one thing. Keeping a kid in school, that's the name of my game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
player Olivia Bordenson. How you doing over there, Dan and Olivia?
Pretty good, guys. Thanks. I'm here with Oswego State women's ice hockey senior captain Olivia Borson. Olivia, thanks for coming on to OSU tonight with us.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, no
It's
problem. So get things kicked off this weekend. You guys faced off with Utica. Had 2 games, a home-to-home series. You went there, won on 2 shorthanded goals by Melissa Seamont.
Yeah.
And then you came back here to the Camp Center and won 2 in a row. How big were those wins for you guys?
They were huge for us. We've never actually beaten Utica back-to-back like that, so that was huge for our history and huge for the season. So it's great. We're sitting in 3rd, and those wins against Utica were absolutely huge. They were ranked 8th in the nation last week on the polls, so it means a lot to us.
And during the first game in Utica, you scored your 60th career point. What does that mean for you? As a senior, how do you feel about it?
Actually, Seamont scored both shorthanded goals.
You had the assist, right?
Yeah, I had the assist on it, but to score shorthanded like that is just crazy against a team like that. So it's huge. I mean, we had power play opportunities, couldn't score on those, and a lot of 5-on-5, but couldn't bury. So scoring shorthanded is huge for us.
All right, and of course, you have Plattsburgh coming up for your last 2 regular season home games. Against the nationally ranked Utica team. What kind of confidence do you guys have and build from that last game moving forward here against Plattsburgh?
I think our confidence is growing every week, especially the last month with all the success we've had. Utica helped a lot with that. I think we know now that we can be in the top of this league, and being 3rd in our conference, I think, with Elmira and Plattsburgh, like, we have a tough conference compared to other conferences in our league. So to steal a home playoff game is huge for us. And Plattsburgh at home in our senior weekend is going to be crazy, but I think we're going to be ready for it. We were tough with Elmira, and I think we proved that we can skate with them and beat them. We took them to OT, so yeah, I think we'll be ready for Plattsburgh this weekend.
Awesome. And with the sweep, you have a 6-game win streak now, and you're undefeated during the months of February. What have you guys been doing really well, and how do you think you guys have been playing well, and why have you been playing so well?
I think we have 9 seniors, so I think that helps a lot. I think we kind of see the ending, and it's getting a little nerve-wracking for us, and I think we want it a lot more. And I think that kind of transpires to like the rest of the classes, especially with such a big freshman class. But working hard in practices, just doing the little things, attention to detail, just putting the work in outside of practice alone, that's going to be the game changer for this weekend especially. So I think we're more focused. We'll be ready to go.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
And these last 2 games, you've passed the previous record in women's ice hockey program history for the best season you guys ever had. And that happened on your senior season. You're the captain. How does it feel to do that? Especially since you're graduating here this year.
It's amazing. I think since our freshman year here, there was 11 of us that came in my freshman year. We unfortunately lost a couple girls along the way, but I don't know. It's been quite the journey, and we've grown every year since, and we've been a team of firsts and keep growing this program. So hopefully, we're gonna be we'll be right there.
Awesome. And 9-2 in the campus center this year. You got number 1 Plattsburgh this weekend. Do you guys have any strategy? Like you said, you skated with Elmira. You almost beat them, and they beat Plattsburgh 2-0 earlier in the year. So, what are your thoughts going to that game? Any specific strategies?
I think we're going to have to just work on getting more pucks to the net, pucks and bodies. Like you said earlier, they've only let 12 goals against them in this whole year. So, but we know it can happen. Chatham lost 5-2, and they scored 2 goals on them. So, I mean, we're just going to get pucks and bodies going to the net, and just high energy, lots of focus early on in the week, and we'll be coming strong. So, just staying healthy.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to take a step off the ice now, get to know our athletes a little bit here on OSU. What's your major, and what do you like to do when you're not out there skating on the ice?
I'm a marketing major, minoring in health science and coaching. I hang out with the girls on our team a lot. But no, going to concerts, like to travel. I don't know. That's about it.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thanks for spending the time with us. It was a great interview, and
Thanks for having
me. Yeah, all right.
Thanks so much.
Guys, we'll send it back to you, but first we're going to take a quick break. This is OSU.
Everyone has friends. There's online friends, friends to go out with on a Saturday night, friends to hang out with and do nothing, friends who show up on moving day. And then there are the friends who'll be there if someone is dealing with a mental illness. Are you one of those friends?
Teaching a kid football is one thing. Keeping a kid in school, that's the name of my game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Dan the man, you've been working hard this week. You got some stories for us to toss up for grabs?
Hey, I appreciate it. A lot has happened here in sports world since we last saw you guys. We'll do our best to get you up to date with Up for Grabs when we return. The USA women's hockey team, they're going up against Canada in the final. Who do you guys think will win the gold?
Well, Adam, I guess I'll start us off here with this one. I think it's pretty clear. When I watched one of their first games in the tournament, they beat the crap out of some team. I think it was like 7-1. Yeah. They skate fast, they play hard, and they're playing pretty well. I know we got Olivia in studio right now. She's probably not too happy that we're taking the USA, her being from Ontario, Canada. But I'm going to have to give it to the Americans on this side. Your thoughts?
Well, yeah, it's a rivalry, definitely. They kind of run on their own in the Olympic and the world setting. USA and Canada, and that big brawl in the qualifiers, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah,
big
whatever happens, it's going to be an entertaining game. I think
you got to take the U.S. right?
Yeah. Danny.
Well, Derek Jeter, one of baseball's greats, he said that he will be stepping away from the game this year. Over 300 average through his career. What will it mean once this guy leaves after his final season with the Bronx Bombers, guys?
Well, Adam, with Derek Jeter retiring comes the farewell to one of the few truly great ambassadors of the game, one of the few whose name stayed clean while we saw the game get dirty. We will officially close the books on one of the 10 most iconic men to ever play the sport in its 140-year history. And I'm prepared to defend that statement if you want to challenge me on it. One of the 10 most iconic in MLB history.
I'm asking someone else to challenge you, a player to step up and have a career like Derek Jeter, a clean, solid,
a good challenge.
Role model career. One of the best to ever play the game, just like you said. Someone needs to step up and play the game like that. There needs to be a next Derek Jeter. I challenge the MLB to be the next Derek.
That's a great challenge, Adam. Danny.
All right, guys. NCAA basketball is getting heated now. Teams are starting to get conference play going. Cuse is up there, number 1. Florida moved to number 2. And, of course, Wichita State is still undefeated along with Cuse. We're halfway there. It's only 29 days till March Madness gets going. Who do you guys got in the Final Four?
Early
All right,
tourney
all right,
talk.
so how
Early
many?
March
Am I going to
Madness
have to
tourney
listen
talk.
to you just talk about the Blue Devils for 2
No,
minutes,
no,
or are we going
not
to talk
yet.
about some other teams?
We're going down the line. Florida's in.
Okay.
Creighton in.
Florida's your overall number 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Creighton's gets in. Doug McDermott.
I
too
love
nasty.
that. I love
Duke
that.
is in.
All right, next. That's enough.
Oklahoma State. Marcus Smart, don't write them off yet. They're coming back with a vengeance.
All right.
Way too much athleticism on that team.
We
The
got
Cowboys are getting there.
2 that are the same. I'm going to hit you with my 2 that are different. I've got Cuse as the overall number 1. Call it what it is. That's not being a homer. They're
Choke.
25
They're
and
gonna
0.
choke.
I can say that. I got Cincinnati. That's my surprise team to get there. The
good.
Bearcats, they're a tough, physical team that can also score. You know, very Big East-like, with a team that can score in the 60s or 70s consistently. Then I got Florida. College basketball, it's pretty high. All right, so I got Florida, and then I got your Duke Blue Devils.
All
I like
right.
the way they're playing. Honestly, I know I hate on Duke a lot because they're not as good as Syracuse, but they are a top 5 team in NC2A, and I'm looking forward to the game this Saturday. Going to be a good rematch, buddy.
It's going to be a
Gonna
great
good one.
rematch.
I think we should throw a bet on it. I think we should throw a bet on this during the break. Let the viewers know. Get back to them next Monday. All right.
If you bet, you lose.
If I bet, I lose. All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, I think Dan's got a new game for us. I guess you're going to have to stay around to find out.
Everyone has friends. There's online friends, friends to go out with on a Saturday night, friends to hang out with and do nothing, friends who show up on moving day. And then there are the friends who'll be there if someone is dealing with a mental illness. Are you one of those friends?
Teaching a kid football is one thing. Keeping a kid in school, that's the name of my game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Welcome back. Danny boy, what you got?
Alrighty, guys. Last night, the All-Stars took the court for the NBA. All-Star Weekend, of course, is going on. You had the dunk contest, skills challenge, three-point contest. What was your guys' favorite thing about All-Star Weekend?
Adam, I think we all know what the best part about NBA All-Star Weekend is. Why don't you go ahead and tell the camera?
Celebrity game.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Bill Simmons was the coach. Jalen Rose was the other coach. And who do we see? Kevin Hart. Arnie Duncan.
Arnie
Duncan
Nice. He's
stepped
nice.
out of Washington, went down to NOLA, made an appearance. He won the MVP. I thought that was a pretty
train
fantastic game.
Barack.
He should.
They
We
should
should
go-
get Barack. When Barack's not president anymore, we should get him in the.
On the show?
Well, yeah, that or the celebrity game. Dan, back to you.
All right, guys, not only NBA basketball, but in the Olympics in Sochi, the U.S. men's hockey team and Canada's hockey team both got a bye to the quarterfinals. U.S. the 2 seed, and Canada looks like they'll be the 3 seed. Who do you guys think has a better chance of winning the gold medal?
Well, I mean, I think Canada's a more talented team, but USA with that win against Russia might have the role.
Yeah.
Might have that momentum into the quarterfinals to get them in that gold
Yeah.
medal game.
I think it's going to be exciting. You know,
But look out for Russia. They're not coming back soft.
absolutely. Obviously, the way it ended in Vancouver 4 years ago is very exciting. I hope it's something similar as exciting, regardless of who comes out on top. I'll tell you what the key is. If Ryan Miller starts, the USA team loses. If Jonathan Quick starts, the USA team wins
Shots
the gold.
fired.
Dan,
Shots
back to
fired.
you.
All right, guys. Well, LeBron James had a comment earlier in the week about his Mount Rushmore, being the top 4 basketball players in his opinion. Kobe came out and announced his with Jordan, Larry Bird, Bill Russell among those. Who's your Mount Rushmore?
Exactly what Kobe said.
Yep.
I think it starts off with Jordan, Bill Russell, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Kobe's in that 5 spot. LeBron's creeping.
All right. I got the same top 4. I got James as my 5, a surprise. Tim Duncan as my 6. The man gets no respect. Let's give Tim Duncan some more respect out there, NBA fans.
Yep.
All right. So I think we're going down to the wire.
Yeah, Ray Rice, your boy, got arrested this weekend. Big deal.
No, not really. It was domestic violence, simple assault. You know, him and his fiance had a dispute in public. Not a big deal at all. AJ Burnett signed with the Phillies.
Hey, he was on a roll in Pittsburgh. Why not? Big rivalry coming up. Not Duke Syracuse yet.
Not
Duke,
yet.
North Carolina. Who you got?
I got Duke, and to your rivalry point, I think when UNC continues to become relevant, I think Duke Hughes could take that rivalry right from you. Adam, some more Thursday night basketball action. Miami, OKC, rematch of the NBA Finals last year.
Big. After the All-Star game, LeBron's
What are you
heating
thinking?
up now.
What are you thinking?
OKC.
Dude, Kevin Durant is
Durantula.
too.
Durantula.
He's just too good.
Dan, mistakes.
Did we mess anything up?
The men have already secured a home game in the SUNYAC. Just throwing it out there, man. There's one for you.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. What are you watching for, Adam?
Well, a big week, big sports week.
Big week.
Obviously, my Duke Blue Devils have 3 games, but
Yeah.
Duke, Syracuse. Let's be real, we're all watching that Saturday.
I think we're all watching that. We talked about the NBA action on Thursday, Miami, OKC, Golden State, and Houston also playing on Thursday night. Both
games.
those games on TNT.
Good games.
College basketball all week. Hughes trying to stay undefeated. Let's talk about
Daytona 500 too.
Daytona 500 coming up. Let's talk about when the Orange head down to Cameron Indoor. Convince me why Duke's going to win.
Okay. Well, everyone says Cameron Indoor is the high school gym. You know, there's not a lot
It
of
only
people. They
holds
go into the
12,000,
dome with
similar to a high
35,000,
school gym.
But it's closer, it's loud, and they're not going to lose on their home court. They know how to win big games. They drop stupid games, but they know how to win big games. I think Duke comes in, Jabari Parker shows who the real freshman is, and we take care of business.
Well, I think we all know who the real freshman is. If you watched the Pitt game last week, we all saw what Tyler Ennis was capable of
Probably
doing.
the true freshman because he'll stay there for 4 years, but Jabari will be in the NBA early.
No, you watch out for Tyler Ennis, man. He's pretty underrated. He's definitely going somewhere. I really like Tyler Ennis a
D-League.
lot. D-League. D-League. No, that's the
give
likes.
the kid some
That's the
credit.
likes of Eric Devendorf. What else we got going on? NASCAR.
Yeah. Danica Patrick had those controversial comments with Richard Petty there.
Yep.
The king.
The NASCAR drivers, they always manage to keep it interesting, whether it's Tony Stewart, someone's running their mouth. It's always a show to watch, even if you don't like necessarily the racing part. The off the track stuff definitely seems to entertain the fans.
Johnson, my boy.
Jimmy Johnson, man, he's the king. Might as well be. He's won, what, like
6.
45 titles or something like that? All right. Well, thanks for joining us. That's all the time we got here for Oswego Sports Update. Stay tuned. Next week, we'll be back for more of the best Oswego sports banter around.
Thanks to all our guests and everyone here on the crew. Until next week, we'll see you later.